Merci. How you doing? Let me see where I'm at here. Here I am. I'm right here. So let's go and take a look. I think this is a really great job describing your rationale here and summarizing your experience with the design process so far. This is really fantastic. It's really important that you do this as a designer too. And I would encourage you to do this with all of your assignments, not only for this class, but other classes too, because it allows we instructors to have a really good insight into what you're learning and how you're learning. Quite often I get just as much out of the writing in terms of being able to determine how you're learning and the effectiveness as I get out of looking at the actual work. So please keep this up moving forward. Okay, let's jump over to the ad. I think the ad it's really a good start. Let me just reduce that a little bit. Get that around. Okay, it's a good start. Very clean, very simple. It's got good mechanics. It's got good hierarchy. Everything is executed beautifully too. So you've got your Arial bold for your headline, your Arial bold italic for your subhead, and then your regular Arial for the body copy. Now it looks like you've got this place in Arial bold italic, which is fine as well. The one thing I would recommend here is right now the image itself is dead center, and that really it reduces the versatility of the page because you're really forced. There's only a couple of areas you can place type. I would recommend that, I'm not real sure how much is on the side of this. If you can just even maybe crop this differently so that she's either on one side or the other side, but not in the center. That'll open up some area for you to place your typography. It's really problematic, and if you're familiar with the rule of thirds, we know that center placement is not usually it's rarely the most interesting place to position a focal point for any given composition. Rule of thirds basically says if you take this and divide it in three equal portions, both on the horizontal axis and the vertical axis, that those guidelines as well as the intersection of those lines will indicate the most interesting placement of any image or any graphic associated with any given composition. So for example, we draw a line here, a line here, a line here, and a line here, right? That gives us a 9x9 grid. Where those meet or where those lines reside themselves is actually a more interesting placement. So if we divide this into thirds, this would be one of the lines, right? It would be more interesting if she was in that line right there. For that reason, I recommend either cropping this differently to accommodate for placement of text or to use a different background image. Now, we can see this kind of setup in the course announcements. If you look at the examples in the course announcements, you'll see this configuration that I highly recommend using. I think it's very versatile. It shows wonderful page mechanics, and it'll be a great addition to your student portfolio when that time comes. But at any rate, what I'm talking about is this headline. Okay, then under the headline, just like you have here, but left align, and I think the subhead here is too small in terms of spatial relationships when you compare it to the headline. So I would increase that a little bit. So you have headline, subhead, okay, then you have your body copy. I would go ahead and work the promotional call to action right into the body copy, okay? So that you would have this configuration, headline, subhead, informational paragraph, the girls in the image over here. Then you have you could place the drinks on this side, place the logo on this side. This is a great place for a logo. Good exit strategy because the viewer is going to be leaving the composition in that area anyways. Typically, we start the composition in the upper left and we move down and to the right. So this would be the exit point for any given composition. So we might as well use that to our advantage by reinforcing the client's branding by placing the logo right there. So let me summarize what I mean, okay? And definitely take a look at those examples in the announcements area. So if you have room on either side of this, or if you can crop this image somehow, I don't know if you would have room to crop it, you know, something like that. I'm not real sure what kind of room is left over on the side there. But if not, like I said, you may consider using changing out the background image. But the background image itself is great. Wonderful tone, wonderful distribution of color and tonal variations. Tonal values are distributed beautifully. Nothing's too dark, nothing's too light. Really good job. But we've got some issues as far as the alignment goes. So those are my recommendations. And again, take a look at those examples. But again, in summary, you would have your background image, you would have your headline, your subhead, your paragraph of body copy, your masked image, your logo, And then you can take your contact information and span right across the top of the page or the bottom of the page. And I think that'll really help the inherent hierarchy, visual and typographic hierarchy, informational hierarchy associated with the magazine ad. So try those. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. But I'd like to see some of those changes. I'd like to see those changes reflected. Now, this may entail finding a new background image. And please understand, I'm not just trying to make extra work for you. I really think it would be more effective if we didn't have this image right in the center. I think it would be more effective in your student portfolio when that time comes. And that's, after all, that's what we're after, is having a good tangible piece to show what you've learned in this class. All right, great start. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. I'll be glad to make any needed clarifications. But I'd like to see those changes made. And if you want to go ahead and start working on those changes and resubmit or email me or whatever you want to do to get feedback and comments, please let know that I'm more than willing to provide additional comments at any time that you resubmit. All right, great job.